God, I need to change this intro jingle. Kind of drives me nuts. Still like the animation, but the jingle's gotta go. Hopefully sooner than later. Welcome to another episode of ZFK Talks, and this is how I lost $10,000 overnight. Wish I could say it hasn't happened more than once. Gonna make this as quick of a video as I can. It's a busy day today. I did want to mention, ironically, I did start this channel in March of 2020 when the world got shut down, and YouTube was something that I wanted to focus more time on, and it was kind of like the open gate portal of time that I had on my hands to start it. Ironically, with that being the time period that I started the channel, I am on my second bout of the cerveza sickness, and it has been kicking my ass. I'm about 7 days in and relatively symptom free now, but unfortunately the fatigue and other such things are lingering. And I will say, as someone that did not get their shots, I deserve all of this. I am a piece of shit for being so stubborn and not getting the shots, and whatever I get coming to me, I deserve it. And I have definitely been suffering. My first time with it, I was in Mexico, and it lasted 2 days, almost asymptomatic, and I thought, what a breeze. And this time, absolutely the opposite. I've been suffering for a whole week. So anyways, let's get on to the topic of this video. How and when did I lose $10,000 overnight? And what kind of lessons did I learn from it? We'll get to that at the end of the video. I actually want to cover something else that inspired me to make this video today that has been going on in recent news. Regarding that recent news, I want to start off with a few names here. SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. Changpeng Zhao, also known as CZ. Alex Machensky. A couple names that you should know as I get into this story. Another term that some of you might not be familiar with, insolvency. What is insolvency? It's basically bankruptcy. So very similar. Insolvency is when you have credit from creditors that you can no longer pay back. Okay? Pretty simple, straightforward. So in summer of 2022, SBF tweeted something along the lines of, "You may not be expecting it, but many exchanges that you know and love are already insolvent." And as paraphrasing, he's hinting that a lot of exchanges were already secretly insolvent because your insolvency isn't necessarily known or obvious at first. And something that will basically make an exchange go under overnight is a bank run. And a bank run is effectively when all of the creditors or clients of a certain institution, bank, or exchange go all at once to get their money out of that particular place. And because the exchange or the bank is insolvent, effectively the institution cannot give all the funds back to everyone if they all come at once to try and get to their funds. So that brings me to another term that you should know before we get too deep into the story. Fractional reserve banking. Fractional reserve banking is effectively a term that means that a bank or an institution does not necessarily have to work within the funds that they have. They can leverage or loan out funds that they don't even have or exist. Yeah, I know, interesting. And if you know how the system works with the Federal Reserve, the worldwide monetary system, almost all banks are working off of this today. And that is effectively all the money and all the credit in the system, they have it on a computer or a ledger or something that's keeping track of it, but it doesn't mean that they necessarily have all of that money or credit one-to-one. And again, if you are well versed on how the world economic system works, it is a huge problem, and it's been something that's been going on for decades, and it is going to crumble our society at some point. So anyways, let me bring it back. What has happened in the last few days? This guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, basically his exchange is called FTX. So FTX is actually the second largest exchange in the world. And some rumors started to show up about 3 days ago that his exchange, FTX, is potentially insolvent. And, a lot of people try and visualize how big is an exchange, what is too big to fail. This particular exchange, FTX, has the naming rights to the FTX Arena in downtown Miami, where the Miami Heats play. Okay, so that's a pretty big company when your business name is plastered across the front of a huge arena in a very popular destination like Miami, which is pretty crazy. So what SBF did was, when these rumors came out, he immediately suggested that these rumors were brought about by CZ, or Changpeng Zhao from Binance, who owns the largest exchange in the world, and pretty much tried to say that these accusations are not true, and this is my biggest competition coming after us and trying to make false accusations so that we will go out of business and they can take our place. Okay? The next day, actual articles start coming out saying that Binance is looking at acquiring FTX. Okay, that moved really quick. So the largest exchange in the world is going to buy the second largest exchange in the world. Power move. Then, third day, which I believe was yesterday, absolute chaos ensues. It is revealed that FTX is indeed insolvent, is indeed going bankrupt, is indeed not going to be able to pay back their creditors. Withdrawals stop, as far as I know. Panic ensues. It's like a domino cascading effect. All the different coins in crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, everything, all gets absolutely slaughtered, at least negative 10%, some down 40% in a day. I remember I was on a site getting photos and videos for a client, and my buddy and I are talking about how all of this is happening, and we're talking about, XRP down from 57, 58 cents down to 53 cents. That's a great buy spot. I'm like, yeah, you're right. He's like, if it hits 53 cents, I'm going to buy $500 worth. I was like, you know what? I'm in. If it hits 53 cents and your advice is on point, I'm buying $500 XRP at 53 cents. What happens? I'm literally on my phone watching it happen live. I watch it hit 53 cents. I watch the rest of the market drop like 15% in like 10 minutes. And I'm trying to buy assets, and the exchanges are locked up and overloaded and glitching out, and I can't get the money in. And sure enough, just XRP specifically drops all the way from 56 or 8 cents Canadian down to 48 cents in a matter of like 20 minutes. It was insane. I was trying to buy so hard, I couldn't, and I ended up spending over $1,000 on crypto, just buying up that dip, as I always do. And it was a good buying opportunity, but it was just insane chaos, and it was happening so quick. So, FTX went insolvent. Rumors were that Binance was going to acquire FTX and hopefully be able to save the day and get the creditors of FTX their money back. And the thing was, though, is they put a ton of stipulations on the deal, and they would be able to pull out at any time, wisely, right? And then I believe it was at the end of yesterday that they had already changed their minds. They said, no, we're not going to buy FTX. It's too much of a liability. And I believe U.S. agencies are now investigating Sam Bankman-Fried, and FTX ran out of the box there. Everything just happened so quick. Unfortunately for the people of FTX, they can probably kiss their money goodbye. Maybe they'll get a fraction of it back. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. And I did not have any money in FTX. Thank God. We'll get to how I lost money in a similar event soon. But it's just crazy how fast it happened. Where there is man, there is war. There's a rumor that maybe even CZ of Binance propagated these rumors ahead of time with knowing that FTX was insolvent as a way to kind of oust their competition. I don't really know what I think about that, because Binance wouldn't be liable for FTX being insolvent. But either way, if it was intentional or not, Binance will not have that second place competition anymore. Whatever their competition is beneath them is going to be even smaller than FTX was. So yeah, the situation for Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX is really, really not good. FTX is probably never going to be a thing. The thing with bank runs on exchanges that are insolvent is as soon as it happens once, it's over. That exchange is done, because as soon as creditors realize that they cannot get their funds out of an exchange because the exchange is not holding all of their funds one-to-one, and they're over leveraging, they're loaning the money out, they're collateralizing it and doing all kinds of risky hedge fund type business with it, it's over. People have lost trust in your exchange, and therefore they're not going to feel safe leaving their money there. Exchanges that you feel safe leaving your money in are pretty much worth their weight in gold, and I don't actually believe they exist. I've seen too much now. Unfortunately, bad actors like Sam Bankman-Fried completely taint the industry. They hurt crypto, they hurt investors, and something that's going to determine a lot of the future in crypto is the regulations in the United States. And the more that we have people like Sam Bankman-Fried that fuck over the small man retail investor, the worse the regulations are going to be when they do come out. They're going to be there's going to be a lot more scrutiny. It's going to be a lot more difficult to get permits and such, and the general regulations are going to be a lot heavier and harm the general crypto space, because we have bad actors like Sam Bankman-Fried, unfortunately. And, guys like this guy take pure technologies that are built by good people that are decentralized and run on their own, and they basically destroy the purity of these technologies and really ruin the opportunity for other people. I always say that CeFi, centralized finance, i.e. banks and exchanges, bad. DeFi, decentralized technology, good. And unfortunately, human beings seem to taint everything they touch, but there is good human beings with good intent here and there. And those that create good DeFi technology that is pure are there. And then unfortunately, bad actors like SBF do get their dirty little hands onto these good technologies and ruin them. You see, guys like SBF think that they can work with fractional reserve banking techniques and work outside of the one-to-one assets that they have and pretend they have more assets than they do and operate like the Federal Reserve or a typical bank. And then it backfires when people end up finding out that you have over-leveraged and over-risked yourself with fractional reserve banking to the point where your business is falling apart, and we all try to come get our money out of your exchange just to find out that you don't have our money. And then it's over for you. Sam Bankman-Fried is probably going to go to jail, and God knows what. I hate to say it, but he deserves everything that's coming to him. And it's not a joke when you take people's money and you are criminally negligent with it and you throw it away. People that don't know any better, and when I say don't know any better, it is their fault when they don't know any better and they're not storing their cryptocurrencies properly. Everyone should know how to be storing cryptocurrencies off of exchanges where it is the most safe. Still, with that said, some people that don't know better have all of their money in one exchange. And when an exchange like this goes under and they go insolvent and they lose everything, their kids, college funds and maybe their retirement savings or however they had that crypto saved, people go and end up killing themselves and stuff like that. Like it's not a joke when these people are criminally negligent with other people's funds that aren't theirs. And there's a lot of lessons for other people that are running exchanges to learn from. 2022 hasn't been a kind year in the markets. It's been a lot of bear market. Voyager went down, Celsius went down, world's second largest FTX is now down. A lot of different exchanges haven't been able to weather the market conditions and have went insolvent because of their bad actions. And unfortunately, a lot of people have lost money this year, including me. So let's get to how I lost $10,000 overnight. weren't those great times? Ah, yes, I relish in them. It wasn't really a big deal at the time because things were so good in my life at the time, and I will have a talks video as well as a mini documentary coming out about this chapter of my life soon. And this is when I was away for a couple months in Western Canada this summer, planting trees, doing nature's good work with our monoculture clone trees. We'll call them that. So yeah, I was a dirty hippie with long bleach blonde fucking hair, living in a tent, covered in dirt all the time, and restoring logged land in Alberta, planting trees, and actually making like pretty decent money at it. I wasn't there for the money, I was there for the experience, and the experience was worth its weight in gold, and I can't wait to talk about it in some more videos. But yeah, at the time I did have all of my crypto keys with me hidden away in a special spot if I needed access to them to withdraw while I was away on this trip. And at the time I had a third of my entire XRP bag, which has always been my largest bag, into Celsius. I had my entire Polygon bag into Celsius, which I am a huge believer in Polygon, and I got into it early, so it's been very profitable. I had all kinds of other coins into Celsius at the time, and Celsius had like a great reputation. It was well marketed, it was clean. A lot of my favorite YouTube influencers that got me into some of my most profitable projects early on would promote Celsius. I had a lot of trust in Celsius. Celsius seemed like a great exchange. I actually liked it a lot better than the other ones. And the reason why is because Celsius was marketed as like a non-bank. Unbank yourself, I believe, was like a term they used. And what they were offering was like really, really amazing and like hard to compete with. But you could get anywhere between like 3 to 12% interest on your assets every month. If you have hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, into an exchange, or not even an exchange, it's not an exchange, it's like an interest gathering platform. You have that kind of money into it, you have like really good passive income. And like everyone's looking for passive income right now with the cost of living, including myself. So I had quite a bit of my tokens into Celsius with full trust. And yeah, I started getting like weird emails for a little while following the big crash in May of 2022, and didn't really think anything of it. Didn't really have too much time to like look into it because I was like full blown planting trees like a maniac. And eventually I got an email in like I think July that Celsius had went bankrupt, insolvent. And I was like, oh, I've never seen this before. What does that mean? So I start messaging my one buddy, and he goes, oh, yeah, you can kiss that money goodbye. It's good as gone. I was like, oh, no. So I start continuing to look into it, and yeah, I found out that indeed Celsius did not weather the storm of this crash, although it did not happen immediately. It took like a month and a half. They had went insolvent, and the creator of Celsius, Alex Machinsky, who had marketed this as some great non-bank competitor for high interest rates to regular banks, was actually a bad actor, and he was being criminally negligent with everyone's funds on that platform, billions of dollars, throwing it into high-risk different DeFi protocols online, loaning it out, collateralizing the money, and using high-risk, high-leverage tactics to keep up the payouts on these high-interest promises that they had put on the platform for people that store their money there. And nobody knew until it was too late. And to this day, I don't know what's going to happen with the money that I have in Celsius. It's still there. I have a sheet verifying it from the courts afterwards that does match what I had in there. Will I get it back in dollars? Will I get it back in token value? I don't know. That's another thing. Once you get into crypto and you're in there deep enough and you understand it, at some point you stop thinking of crypto in dollar denominations. You start thinking about it in crypto denominations. And when I say I lost $10,000 overnight, it was like $10,000 Canadian value at the time. But if we're talking just a couple years in the future, or even decades in the future, the crypto that I have lost to Celsius just a year or two down the line from now, if we have another bull market, we're talking six-figure losses. They have stolen six-figure value from me in token value, or not token value, in dollar value. And if we're talking multi-decades, we are talking millions and millions, if not $1 billion has been stolen from me on Celsius in future dollar values on these tokens. It's horrific. I went on Reddit, wish I didn't, and I started doing research there and looking at the horror stories I found on Celsius about other people that had lost their entire life savings on Celsius. I guarantee that people killed themselves over this stuff. I guarantee that people hit rock bottom and had crippling depression over losing their money to Celsius. I was supposed to put more money into Celsius because the interest rates were so attractive. It's really scary that I could have lost more money than I did into Celsius. And it's like a thank God kind of moment that I was diversified into cold storages, which cannot be hacked, and other exchanges, and had all the eggs divvied amongst many baskets. I'm so glad I'd never put in more money into Celsius. And Alex Machinsky is no longer with Celsius. They've formed a board to try and figure out what they're going to do going forward and how they can get us our money back, hopefully in token value, not dollar value. Oh, goddamn. Excuse me. But I hope that Alex gets everything that's coming to him, and I think the guy should go to jail. He's done damage to the industry and to small guy retail investors like myself like you wouldn't believe. And I'll tell you why I think that he deserves to rot in hell. He could have been over leveraging and being irresponsible and made mistakes, sure, but days leading up to the insolvency announcement of Celsius, he was on Twitter trying to put out promotions for better interest rates for people to bring money into Celsius days before they went insolvent. He was luring innocent people into Celsius days before they went insolvent. He would have known he was going insolvent weeks in advance, if not months. How can you be so disgusting that you are luring innocent people to put their money into your platform when you know it's going under? That's wrong. That is someone with no morals. I know you're stuck between a rock and a hard place when you have a massive exchange that's going insolvent, and I know leading up to that, you can't say it's going insolvent because that's when the bank run starts, and when the bank run starts on your exchange, it's done. If you don't have the funds to give the creditors their money back, you're done. But don't be luring innocent people in at the last minute to try and get some sort of exit liquidity for yourself to get as much money as you can out for yourself when you're already a multi-millionaire, if not a billionaire. That's sick. Alex Machinsky, I hope you get what's coming to you, buddy. Guys like Sam Bankman-Fried and Alex Machinsky and others think that they can run like the Federal Reserve or big United States banks and such with their imaginary money and run with fractional reserve banking with money they don't have. And the thing is, the too big to fail banks and industries like we seen in 2008, they get bailed out by the Federal Reserve. But if you're an exchange that decides to act foolishly and work with so-called money that doesn't exist, that you don't have, and it goes bad for you, no one's coming to bail you out. And all you've done is hurt innocent investors that may or may not have put every dollar they had in there. Thank God I wasn't one of them. And I hope that people that have experienced this pain are able to recover and hopefully, able to recover some of their funds back and such. It's a really sad thing to see. It's a really big setback. And, I was one of the lucky ones that kind of just got a slap on the wrist and lost a manageable amount of money, although it does suck. And I do have faith now that Alex Machinsky is out of Celsius and there is court proceedings going forward that hopefully I will get some of that money back. Is there anything else I've left on my notes here? I think that's it. I think I actually got a pretty quick video done today. That's great. The only thing I have written down here is a really good documentary to watch that isn't actually about like insolvency, but it's about a different exchange that has went under. That's kind of close to home as a Canadian, is a Netflix doc called Trust No One, and it's about Quadriga CX and Jerry Cotton, and it's really interesting. But this was a example of a mismanagement of a crypto exchange that had billions of dollars based out of Canada, and when you have secret phrases or codes or whatever to get into the wallets that you have personally, that's like all for security. But Jerry Cotton, the owner of Quadriga CX, he had the keys for the entire exchange, and this guy effectively died while, I believe, in India mysteriously, and he had the keys to the entire exchange. So to this day, I don't believe anyone got their money back from Quadriga CX, and there is, of course, rumors and speculations this guy faked his death and ran away with the billions of dollars, which would be worth many more billions of dollars in today's values. But yeah, if this is like a topic that was hard for you to grasp with this whole video, watch Trust No One on Netflix. It's a pretty interesting little mini doc on the Quadriga CX scandal. And I'm sure down the road there will probably be more documentaries on exchanges like SBF's FTX, Alex Machinsky's Celsius, Voyager went down this year. Mt. Gox was another really early kick in the nuts from crypto, another big exchange that went down in the early days. All this stuff's pretty juicy and makes for good documentary material. So anyways, that's how I lost $10,000 overnight. Don't let it happen to you. The lesson is, get your cryptos off of the exchanges and onto cold storage. If it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. When your crypto's sitting on an exchange, they can loan it out anywhere they want, do anything they want with it, just like a regular bank. And if they're going under and they're insolvent and they're about to be bankrupt, they will lie to your face right up until the very last minute to try and extract more money out of you to keep their little charade going for just a little bit longer. Get your crypto off the exchanges and put it on cold storage ASAP. Don't let what happened to me and what happened to the people on FTX happen to you. Thanks for watching. This is another episode of ZFK Talks, and peace out till next time.